Hearken, dear friends, and lend your ears to a saga far grander than any courtly romance, a chronicle of whispers and thunder, of fragile parchment and unyielding spirit, a history etched not merely in ink, but in the very heart of humanity. As a chronicler of forgotten epochs, and a teller of tales steeped in the grand tapestry of human yearning and endeavor, I, English with Rambo, invite you now to embark upon a journey not merely through time, but into the very sinews and spirit of one of humanity's most enduring literary and spiritual monuments, the Bible. It is a collection, not of just one book, but many, meticulously brought together. Its very name, deriving from the Greek word biblia, meaning books. It has two main parts, the Old Testament and the New Testament. The Old Testament, composed first, recounts the foundational stories of God and His chosen people, the Israelites. Within its 39 books, we find a rich tapestry of narratives, divine laws, heartfelt songs, and profound messages. Then came the New Testament, written later, which unfolds the captivating story of Jesus Christ and the burgeoning early Christian church across its 27 books. What makes this collection truly remarkable is that it was penned by a diverse array of individuals, their voices spanning many hundreds of years. Some writers, like the revered Moses and the formidable King David, are known to us by name, their legacies echoing through the ages. Yet, many others remain anonymous, their devotion preserved solely within the words they contributed. These writers, despite living in vastly different eras and geographies, were united by a singular purpose: to bear witness to God and His eternal plans for humankind. Originally, this sacred library was inscribed in 3 ancient tongues. Hebrew served as the primary language for most of the Old Testament, its strong cadences capturing the essence of the divine covenant. Aramaic found its place in certain passages, while Greek became the chosen vessel for the New Testament, reflecting the Hellenistic world in which it emerged. Yet the story does not end there. Far from being confined to its ancient origins, the Bible has since been translated into countless languages, allowing people across the globe to engage with its timeless messages. For Christians and Jewish people, the Bible holds immense importance, cherished as a direct communication from God to humanity. Millions across the world dedicate themselves to studying its pages, seeking wisdom for living a virtuous life and a deeper understanding of the divine. Intriguingly, the Bible did not begin its journey as a physical book. In ages past, before the widespread adoption of written script, stories were not confined to parchment. Instead, they lived and breathed through the spoken word, passed orally from parents to children, from elders to grandchildren, around flickering campfires and in the heart of communal gatherings. This vibrant tradition, known as oral tradition, was the first, most poignant vessel for these sacred narratives, ensuring their survival through periods of migration, conquest, and societal upheaval. A story forgotten was a truth lost, a lineage broken. Yet, in that very fragility lay immense power, the power of human connection, of tales so vital they had to be remembered, so potent they shaped identity, culture, and the very concept of a people. The earliest tangible whispers of the Bible's written form may date back to approximately 1200 BCE. Some of the most ancient stories and songs, like the heroic Song of Deborah and pivotal sections of Exodus, stand as testaments to these early inscriptions. These foundational texts were meticulously etched in Hebrew onto durable materials such as animal skins and stone tablets. The revered figure of Moses is traditionally credited with authoring the first 5 books of the Bible, collectively known as the Torah or Pentateuch. These momentous texts were reportedly penned around Mount Sinai, shortly after God revealed the 10 Commandments. Within these 5 books, we discover the genesis of the world, the epic saga of Abraham's lineage, and the formation of the Israelite people into a nation. The Hebrew people, dwelling in Canaan, a region now known as Israel and Palestine, endured frequent subjugation by powerful empires such as Babylon and Assyria. During these arduous and often tragic periods, a fierce determination to preserve their identity compelled them to meticulously record their stories and laws, ensuring that these vital legacies would not be forgotten. Writing in ancient times was a painstaking endeavor, a true labor of love and resilience. People employed specialized tools to carve letters into stone, or crafted inks from plants to write upon animal skins, each mark a testament to their unwavering dedication. Literacy was a rare gift, possessed by only a select few, known as scribes. These custodians of knowledge were vital, serving as the vigilant guardians of their people's sacred narratives, their patient hands safeguarding the words from the ravages of time. The compilation of the Old Testament was a monumental undertaking, unfolding over many centuries, not the singular effort of one individual. Instead, countless individuals contributed different sections over hundreds of years, a vast collaborative effort driven by a shared spiritual purpose. Slowly, painstakingly, these various books were gathered and accepted into the sacred canon. The Torah, meaning law in Hebrew, comprising Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, was the first segment to be formally recognized, accepted as holy by Jewish people around 500 BCE. These books enshrined the most fundamental laws and pivotal stories of the Jewish faith. The second division, known as the Nevi'im, meaning prophets, encompassed stories of kings and prophets who delivered divine messages, including books like Joshua, Judges, Samuel, and Kings. These were accepted around 300 BCE. Finally, the Ketuvim, or writings, which included Psalms, Proverbs, and other wisdom literature, saw some of its books accepted much later, between 200 BCE and 200 CE. By the time of Jesus' birth, a broad consensus had emerged among most Jewish communities regarding which books constituted their sacred scriptures. However, it is a poignant detail that different Jewish communities sometimes included varying texts. For instance, some communities utilized the Greek translation known as the Septuagint, which contained additional books. While the Hebrew Bible traditionally comprises 24 books, Christians count them as 39, a distinction arising from dividing some longer books into smaller parts. Every one of these revered books was painstakingly copied by scribes, driven by an almost obsessive desire to preserve the divine word with absolute fidelity. And it is this very dedication that makes the tales of discovery so breathtaking. Imagine, then, the sheer wonder when, in more recent times, a young shepherd boy, searching for a lost sheep near the desolate caves of Qumran, stumbled upon jars containing ancient scrolls, undisturbed for nearly 2 millennia. This profound discovery, the uncovering of the Dead Sea Scrolls in the mid-20th century, was not merely an archaeological marvel. It was a revelation, a breathtaking moment that pulled back the curtain on centuries of textual history and confirmed, with a silent roar, the incredible fidelity with which these sacred narratives had been transmitted. Imagine the scholarly world holding its breath as these brittle parchments, dating from the 3rd century BCE to the 1st century CE, were meticulously unrolled. Here, contained within those desert caves, were the oldest surviving copies of nearly every book of the Hebrew Bible, providing irrefutable proof that the words we read today echoed those cherished almost 2,000 years ago. While minor variations existed, differing spellings, grammatical nuances, slight additions or omissions, the core narratives, theological messages, and prophetic utterances remained astonishingly consistent. This revealed not a flaw, but the dynamic, living nature of the text, continuously engaged with by communities that cherished and transmitted it, sometimes with subtle, localized variations. The great Isaiah scroll, for instance, showed only minor orthographic differences from much later medieval texts, confirming the remarkable integrity of this prophetic book across centuries of copying. It forced scholars to confront the idea that the original was not a single immutable snapshot, but a vibrant, evolving narrative, continuously shaped by those who held it sacred. It paused scholars to confront the idea that the original was not a single immutable snapshot, but a vibrant, evolving narrative, continuously shaped by those who held it sacred. This discovery was a profound vindication of the countless, often anonymous scribes who had toiled in dimly lit scriptoriums, their hands aching, their eyes strained, but their spirits alight with purpose, their love for the Word transcending personal comfort and even the threat of extinction. As these ancient prophecies resonated through time, a new narrative began to unfold, culminating in the genesis of the New Testament. The teachings, life, death, and resurrection of Jesus of Nazareth ignited a spiritual movement so profound, so utterly revolutionary, that it first took root in the fertile soil of oral tradition, just as the Old Testament had. For decades after his ascension, apostles and their disciples, driven by an almost unbearable truth, a love story so revolutionary it reshaped their entire world, traveled throughout the Roman Empire. They shared fervent eyewitness accounts, recounted parables, and proclaimed a radical message of salvation, often under the terrifying shadow of persecution. These were not merely abstract theological treatises. They were vibrant, living testimonies, messages carried on the winds of zeal, shaped by the immediate needs and questions of nascent Christian communities. As the apostolic generation began to pass away, and the geographical spread of the church increased, the necessity for written records became paramount. The desire to preserve authentic teachings, to guide diverse congregations, and to counter emerging heresies spurred these early followers to commit their knowledge to papyrus. Thus emerged the Gospels, four distinct yet harmonious accounts of Jesus' life, ministries, and ultimate sacrifice, each penned from a unique perspective for a specific audience. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John captured the essence of Christ's message, ensuring its fidelity for generations to come. Simultaneously, the epistles, or letters, penned by apostles like Paul, Peter, James, and John, served as vital instructional and pastoral documents. Written to individual churches or leaders, these letters addressed doctrinal issues, moral challenges, and offered profound theological insights that helped shape the nascent Christian doctrine. The book of Acts chronicled the explosive growth of the early church, and Revelation offered a visionary message of hope and judgment. These writings, though initially circulated independently, were swiftly recognized by the faithful as possessing an authority echoing the words of Christ himself, providing the textual foundation for a new covenant and an ever-expanding global movement. This patient, often challenging quest for clarity amidst a multitude of voices ensured that the foundation of Christian belief would rest upon a collection of texts that were truly representative of the apostolic witness and the unfolding revelation of God in Christ. The resulting canon was a testament to the unity of the early church, preserving the authentic record for all succeeding generations. Yet, merely writing these sacred words was not enough. Their endurance through millennia is largely indebted to the painstaking efforts of ancient manuscripts and their sacred custodians. A subtle yet seismic tremor in the Bible's unfolding history was the shift from the unwieldy scroll to the compact, revolutionary codex, what we now recognize as a book. Before the Codex, a single scroll might contain only one book of the Bible, making comprehensive study or easy navigation a logistical challenge. The Codex, however, allowed multiple texts to be bound together, creating a singular, portable volume. This was not merely an ergonomic improvement, it was an intellectual and spiritual liberation. This was not merely an ergonomic improvement. Suddenly, the entire sweep of divine narrative could be held in one's hands, easily referenced, compared, and pondered. This physical transformation facilitated a more holistic engagement with the Scriptures, encouraging individual study and contemplation in a way that scrolls simply could not. For over 1,000 years, before the age of printing, it was the monasteries and scriptoria that served as the silent engines of textual preservation. As the Roman Empire fractured and the vibrant intellectual life of antiquity gave way to an era often termed the Dark Ages, a new, quiet heroism emerged. While barbarian hordes swept across the land and knowledge seemed poised to recede into twilight, in secluded monasteries, often perched on windswept cliffs or nestled in remote valleys, the flame of learning and faith was kept alive. Picture the scriptorium, a silent chamber where flickering candlelight danced across cowled figures bent over desks, their fingers stained with ink. Hour after hour, these devoted monks meticulously copied ancient texts. This was not mere drudgery. It was an act of profound love, an unwavering belief in the preciousness of the words they preserved. Each letter formed, each page illuminated, was a prayer, a meditation, a refusal to let the light of knowledge and the divine word be extinguished by the encroaching shadows of societal upheaval. They understood, with a clarity born of deep faith, that they were guardians of a priceless inheritance, tasked with transmitting it to future generations, even if those generations seemed distant and uncertain. The survival of countless biblical texts, alongside classical literature, is owed to their quiet, steadfast devotion, a testament to human perseverance against the tides of chaos and destruction. It is a poignant reminder that even in the darkest hours, hope and dedication can illuminate a path forward, preserving not just books, but the very soul of a civilization. But even the most dedicated monastic effort could not match the seismic shift that would democratize the sacred word. A new epic dawned, tearing down the walls of exclusivity and ushering in a profound revolution, the printing press. Johannes Gutenberg's invention in the mid-15th century was not merely a technological marvel. It was a spiritual earthquake that reshaped human thought and faith. Imagine the awe, the sheer disbelief, as identical pages of text began to emerge, not from the painstaking labor of a single scribe, but from the mechanical precision of a press. The first book to be mass-produced, the Bible itself, printed around 1455, was a symbolic act of immense significance. Before this, each copy of the Bible had to be painstakingly handwritten, a process that could take months, if not years, for a single volume. This made Bibles incredibly rare, exorbitantly expensive, and largely inaccessible. The printing press shattered this scarcity. Suddenly, multiple copies of the Bible could be produced with unprecedented speed and at a fraction of the cost. This revolution was not just about making books cheaper. It was about democratizing knowledge, fostering literacy, and empowering individual interpretation. What happens when a text, once the exclusive domain of the elite, is suddenly placed in the eager, often unlettered hands of everyone? What freedoms, what conflicts, what profound shifts in understanding are unleashed? This transformative power was not without its tragic dimensions. The very act of making the Bible widely accessible, intended by many to spread faith, also became a catalyst for radical inquiry and dissent. It challenged hierarchies, ignited intellectual curiosity, and irrevocably altered the relationship between the individual, the institution, and the sacred text. The printing press didn't just reproduce the Bible. It reproduced its influence exponentially, setting in motion forces that continue to reverberate through our modern world, a testament to the unintended yet profound consequences of technological innovation colliding with deeply held beliefs. It was, in essence, the ultimate love story of access, where the longing for connection to the divine finally found its widespread fulfillment, albeit through a crucible of conflict and change. Yet, merely having the words printed was not enough. The human heart yearned to hear them speak in its own most intimate tongue. This was the driving force behind the arduous, often perilous, journey of translation into vernacular languages. For centuries, the sacred texts had often been locked away in ancient tongues: Hebrew, Aramaic, Greek, and then the authoritative Latin Vulgate, inaccessible to the vast majority of believers. The idea that spiritual truth could be confined to an ancient, inaccessible language is itself a counterintuitive notion, yet it prevailed for millennia. Imagine the deep longing, the spiritual ache, to read about Abraham's journey, David's laments, or Christ's parables, not through an intermediary, but directly, in the language spoken in one's home, the language of one's very soul. This desire fueled the heroic efforts of individuals who, against immense opposition, dared to translate the Bible into the common speech of the people. Visionaries like John Wycliffe in England in the 14th century and William Tyndale in the 16th century risked their lives, and indeed Tyndale ultimately gave his, to render the Scriptures into English, believing passionately that every plowboy should be able to read the Bible in his own language. Martin Luther's German translation likewise empowered the common people of the Germanic lands. These translators were more than linguists. They were bridge builders, attempting to construct fragile, beautiful spans across chasms of language and culture, allowing hearts from different lands to finally speak the same sacred tongue. Their courage paved the way for monumental works like the King James Version in England in the early 17th century, a literary masterpiece that not only made the Bible widely accessible, but also profoundly shaped the English language itself. But this noble endeavor often came at the most tragic of costs. What courage does it take to defy the powers that be, to translate and distribute a text into the vernacular, knowing it could lead to your tragic demise, to persecution, to the pyre, all for the sake of making sacred truths available to all? Tyndall's dying prayer for the King of England's eyes to be opened to the truth of the vernacular Bible epitomizes the profound conviction that drove these martyrs. The sacrifices of these translators, facing persecution, exile, and often death, underscore the profound belief in the power of the vernacular Bible to transform lives and uplift the human spirit. It was a revolution not of arms, but of understanding, gifting the world with the clarity of a direct connection to the divine, a true love story steeped in profound empathy. And so, this ancient narrative, born of oral tradition and meticulously preserved through millennia, journeyed into the modern era, achieving a global reach that continues to astonish and inspire. In our current era, the journey of the Bible continues, manifesting as a living text, ever speaking anew, and its echo resounding across continents and through time, as it becomes a truly global voice. The momentum unleashed by the printing press has never ceased, leading to the translation of the Bible, in whole or in part, into thousands of languages, a truly staggering feat unmatched by any other book in human history. This ongoing work is driven by a deep conviction that every person in every corner of the world deserves to encounter the sacred text in their mother tongue. Modern scholarship, utilizing advanced textual criticism and linguistic analysis, plays a crucial role in ensuring the accuracy and clarity of these countless translations. Scholars meticulously compare ancient manuscripts, weigh textual variants, and employ sophisticated tools to arrive at the most faithful and understandable rendition of the original Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek. This continuous process reflects a commitment to scholarly rigor and spiritual fidelity. While some might perceive the Bible as an ancient, static relic, its enduring presence in diverse cultures proves otherwise. It remains a dynamic force, shaping ethical frameworks, inspiring artistic creations, influencing legal systems, and offering solace and guidance to billions. Its narratives continue to captivate, its wisdom to illuminate, and its prophecies to intrigue. From printed pages to digital screens, from audio recordings to apps on portable devices, The Bible is more accessible than ever before, reaching new generations and adapting to contemporary modes of communication. This unparalleled global impact underscores its unique power and universal appeal. The story of the Bible is not merely a historical curiosity. It is a profound testament to humanity's yearning for meaning and the enduring power of a message that transcends cultural and temporal boundaries, continuing to speak powerfully to the human heart in every language imaginable. It is a persistent, universal search for meaning, for purpose, for a narrative grander than our fleeting individual lives. The history of the Bible is, in essence, a reflection of humanity itself, a tale of enduring love, tragic loss, fervent devotion, relentless struggle, and unwavering hope for connection to something transcendent. Thus, we conclude our deep dive into the profound history of the Bible, a testament not only to divine inspiration, but also to an incredible saga of human endeavor and unwavering dedication. We have journeyed from the earliest whispers of oral tradition, where stories of creation and covenant were etched into collective memory, through the meticulous labor of ancient scribes who committed these narratives to fragile scrolls. We have witnessed the arduous processes of canonization, both for the Hebrew Scriptures and the Christian writings, as communities discerned and affirmed the texts that would form their sacred libraries. The discovery of ancient manuscripts, like the Dead Sea Scrolls, stands as a powerful confirmation of the fidelity of transmission over millennia, while the humble hand of the monastic copyist preserved these treasures through ages of darkness. Finally, the revolutionary invention of the printing press democratized access, paving the way for the Bible's translation into virtually every language, making it a truly global phenomenon. This complex, interwoven narrative of preservation and dissemination stands as an unparalleled achievement. It is a tale of resilience, scholarly rigor, and an enduring belief in the power of the written word. It is a grand, sweeping love story of humanity's relationship with this sacred chronicle. But here, dear friends, lies the profound narrative twist. The Bible is not merely an ancient historical document, a relic from a bygone era to be dissected and cataloged. To perceive it as such is to fundamentally misunderstand its unique, living essence. Far from being a static object born in a single moment, it is a living, breathing testament to the relentless human spirit, a story woven with threads of devotion, sacrifice, and an enduring, often tragic love for truth that continually adapts and speaks anew. The very act of writing, intended to preserve, also introduced vulnerabilities, leading to a vibrant, often divergent textual history that has only recently come to light with discoveries like the Dead Sea Scrolls. This wasn't a flaw. It was a testament to its dynamic nature, continuously engaged with by communities that cherished and transmitted it. The revolution of the codex, the relentless passion of translators, and the seismic force of the printing press, each fundamentally altered our relationship with this text, transforming it from an exclusive, communal artifact into a deeply personal companion. What truly sets the Bible apart is not just its content, but its unparalleled capacity for adaptation and its relentless journey through the ages, a timeless narrative that continues to provoke, comfort, and inspire. It is a profound mirror, reflecting our struggles, our hopes, our understanding of the divine, and our enduring, sometimes tragic, yet always resilient human love for meaning. Its existence, its survival, and its omnipresence are themselves a miracle of human perseverance and divine inspiration. It remains, as ever, a bridge between the ancient and the present, a living narrative that continues to shape hearts, inspire hope, and offer solace in our own contemporary journeys. And so, as our historical odyssey draws to a close, what profound echoes will you carry from this saga? This exploration on English with Rambo is more than just an academic exercise. It is a bridge from the ancient to the present, a rich tapestry through which we can immerse ourselves in the beauty and complexity of the English language. By understanding the profound historical context of such a foundational text, we not only deepen our knowledge, but also enhance our linguistic journey, connecting with a story that has shaped civilizations and continues to resonate deeply in the collective consciousness of humanity. If this journey through the Bible's epic history has stirred your soul or ignited your curiosity, I implore you, let your voice be heard. Leave a comment below with your reflections. What aspect of its journey moved you most? And if you wish to continue uncovering the world's most enduring stories, to learn English through narratives that have shaped civilizations, then do subscribe to English with Rambo and share this chronicle with a friend who seeks wisdom. For in our next chapter, we shall delve into another, equally fascinating historical mystery, one that challenges everything we thought we knew about ancient beliefs and their surprising modern echoes. Until then, keep seeking, keep learning, and keep the flame of curiosity burning brightly.